Sadly, things aren't looking good for Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Netflix live-action adaptation that's set to release by the end of this month. There have been a number of red flags that have been going off, and we're going to cover them all in this video. So let's get started.
Hi, my name is Albert Kim. I'm the executive producer and showrunner of Avatar: The Last Airbender. For fans, they'll be very familiar images, which will be super exciting. But hopefully for people who haven't seen Avatar before, it should be epic and exciting on its own. And that really speaks to the challenge of adapting a story like Avatar. You've got to appeal to this base of diehard fans that are already out there, but also appeal to a generation of viewers who've never seen the show before.
Why? What is the point in this? I don't get why all these showrunners, these writers, these directors, all these creatives in Hollywood, why do they talk like this? Why? It doesn't make any sense to me. They're creating an adaptation, but they feel in their head, for some reason, there's two separate audiences. There's the audience that is fans of the original work, and then there's people who have not seen the original work. Do they not realize? Do they not realize that there was a time, once upon a time, nobody knew what Avatar: The Last Airbender was? That show, when it first came out, nobody knew what it was. But guess what? People liked it. People enjoyed it. So that idea, it can stand on its own. Avatar: The Last Airbender is a cool concept. That show is cool. It stood on its own. People flocked to it. People watched it. It became a hit. And now it became such a big hit that years later, you're creating a live-action adaptation. So why do you need to take into account people who have never seen the show before? Why do you have to be like, okay, we need to take into account that there are people who have watched the show and they're expecting certain things, but then we also need to bring in this new audience that has not seen the show before. They don't know anything about Avatar. They don't know anything about it. So why would they watch it? They won't, because they don't know anything about it. So we gotta do stuff in order to get their attention. What? I don't understand it, dude. What? It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make, because the cartoon series did that. Nobody knew what Avatar: The Last Airbender was. You know what it is? It actually does make perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. What they're trying to do is it's what the MCU does. They're dumbing down everything. They're watering down the experience in order to pull in the most broad, generic audience as possible, the largest audience possible. So they're gonna make changes that they think, hey, this people over here might like that. We'll add a little bit of the stuff in here. Oh, this part of Avatar, I think people are not gonna like this. Those people over there, they're probably not gonna like this. So we'll get rid of that. So maybe they might watch the show. And that's what we're seeing them do, man. And the thing is, I feel bad because it seems like in some instances they're trying their best. Okay, I shouldn't say they're trying their best, but they're trying to be faithful. They're trying to. You see them talk about the architecture, about the fighting, about the bending, and it seems like they're trying. Even with the casting, they're trying. I don't even know with the casting they're trying, because Katara and Sokka don't look like Katara and Sokka. At least Sokka kind of looks like Katara because he has a weird looking face. No offense to the actor, but dang it. No offense. You're a good looking guy. But, Sokka is Sokka. And I feel like this guy can pull off Sokka. Like, he has the voice for Sokka too. But the skin color is off. Katara doesn't look anything like, Katara doesn't resemble Katara at all. She doesn't resemble Katara. So, I can't even say they got the casting on point. But, Fire Lord Ozai, that's on point though. I like that. So there are things about the show that I do like, that is promising, but I don't understand that mentality. The mentality that we need to pull in people who have never seen the show before. That's what Avatar: The Last Airbender, the guys who created the cartoon, already solved that problem, and people flock to it. You don't got to do anything else. Just give us a one-to-one adaptation as best as you can. I understand that it can't be a perfect adaptation because you're adapting a cartoon. So you can get away with certain things, some silly things, maybe some sense of humor that you can do in cartoons you can't do in live action because it doesn't come off as well. I get it. But character arcs, story, plot, That's got to stay the same. The writing's got to stay the same. The tone's got to stay the same. You can't change the characters. And guess what? They're changing the characters. Take a look at this. The actress who played Katara said this. I feel like, and I'm not holding anything against the actors. This is all, I'm holding it against the writers and the showrunners. I feel like we also took out the element of how sexist Sokka was. I feel like there were a lot of moments in the original show that were iffy. Here's the thing. People are fans of the original show. That's why this show is being created. Why are you changing it? Why are they changing it? If they wanted to do something different, go make your own show. I mean, just think of the audacity of that. You're taking somebody else's creation and you're altering it without their blessing, mind you. Take a look at this. When Brian and I, this is the original creators of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the cartoon on Nickelodeon, right? When Brian and I signed onto the project in 2018, we were hired. They're talking about the live action adaptation. They were signed on. We were hired as executive producers and showrunners. In a joint announcement for the series, Netflix said that it was committed to honoring our vision for this retelling and to support us on creating the series. And we expressed how excited we were for the opportunity to be at the helm. Unfortunately, things did not go as we had hoped. What were they hoping for? They were hoping for an honest, a respectful retelling of the story. And it didn't go as they hoped. So the original creators of Avatar: The Last Airbender are not giving the live action Netflix adaptation their blessing. What does that tell you, dude? What does that tell you? That's a huge red flag. So back to this whole Sokka drama, you're taking out an entire character arc from the character. So this is not some sort of addition. They talked about how they're adding scenes to add context and different things like that, expand upon it, try new things like that. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, check out this clip here.
So this is the attack on the Southern Air Temple by the Firebenders, and it's really the event that kicks off this whole epic journey. This is a scene that was never seen in the original series. In other interviews, I've talked a lot about how one of the reasons for doing this adaptation is to fill in the gaps. And this, to me, was one of the big gaps in the original series. And there's a good reason why they didn't do it. But for us, I felt it was very important that we needed to see the event, the genocide of the air nomads. And this is the event that the Fire Nation attacked and everything changed.
See, that I don't have a real problem with, as long as they do it respectfully. That's something we didn't get to see in the cartoon show, but they want to showcase that in this live action adaptation. I think that's fine, as long as they stay true to the spirit of the show. However, this Sokka situation, it's not an addition to the show. It's a subtraction. You're removing an entire character arc. You're changing a character. If you guys don't remember Sokka, yeah, he was kind of a sexist. Him and Katara used to go at it. Remember when he went to with the Kyoshi warriors? How he didn't take him seriously. He didn't take him seriously at all. He's like, he was calling him calling them when they were fighting was dancing. You know, girls do this, guys go out and fight. So the thing is, Sokka went on this journey to the point where he went to the Kyoshi warriors, bowed down, and humbled himself and said, "Can you please teach me how to fight?" You're not going to get that character arc. You just removed an entire character arc. It's like they don't want flawed characters. They want everyone to be perfect. I don't get it, dude. I don't get it. It's a positive message too. It's like saying, hey, being sexist is bad. Look at this guy. He was this way and he learned this and now he's this way. He improved. He bettered himself. But you're just taking that out because people might find it offensive or what? It's why take it out? It doesn't make any sense to me. You're changing the character.
So here we see Aang going into the Avatar state, which in the world of Avatar is the ultimate power. And so we treated it very seriously. In fact, we actually don't see Aang going into the Avatar state as much in our first season as they did in the animated series, because we wanted to make sure that it felt very special. And we wanted to make it very clear that Aang could only access that state in specific set of circumstances. We actually tweaked the rules a little bit from the original series as to when and how he can access that state. But that's part of doing an adaptation like this. Like, there are certain things that we are going to modify, we're going to change, and hopefully fans will see that it's all for the good of the story as a whole and in dimensionalizing the story and bringing it from one medium to the other.
Why? Why? Because it's an adaptation. They have to bend the rules and change the rules of when and how and why he enters the avatar state. Why? You're changing when he enters the avatar state. That's changing the story. Why? If you're changing the rules of the avatar state, that's changing the story. That's changing the lore of the Avatar: The Last Airbender. You're changing the original lore that was created. Why? Because it's an adaptation. Because you're changing mediums, you have to change the lore. Because you're moving from a cartoon to live action, you have to change the rules of the Avatar state. Why? Why? That does not make any sense to me. Why can't you just say, hey, I want to make it this way because that's how I want to make it? I'm very curious to see what happens in the show because the logic there, the reasoning there doesn't make any sense. You don't have to change the rules of the Avatar state. You don't have to at all. And you're claiming that it's because you're changing mediums? I don't know about that. I don't know about that one bit. Check this out. This is from the showrunner of the live action adaptation on Netflix. I've used the term that this is a remix, not a cover. In that, you've got to hit a lot of familiar notes, but you can't forget that this is supposed to be a new song. This is not a new song, dude. This is not a new song. This show is a remix, not a cover. That's what the showrunner said. That's all you need to know, dude. That's all you need to know. This is a remix, not a cover. AKA, it's not the same song. They said they literally said, but you can't forget that this is supposed to be a new song. It's not. This is what it should be. You know, you guys know Serj Tankian, the lead singer of System of a Down, came out with a solo album, and then he translated that for an orchestra. He arranged it for an orchestra, right? It's the same album. It's the same song. It's just being performed by an orchestra. That's what this should be. You're translating the same thing from a different medium. So it should be have the same verses, have the same choruses, same chorus, right? The same structure, the same tone, right? The same emotion should be evoked. You're just changing the medium, right? It can feel different because you're using completely different instruments, but the spirit of the song should remain intact. If you look at a song and then you look at a cover of it, what makes an excellent cover? A cover might have completely different instruments, right? But it pays respect to the original material. A remix, yes, it can pay respect, but a remix can have the liberty to completely alter the song. Like a remix can sound completely different than the original song. I've used the term that this is a remix, not a cover. Red flag right there. In that you've got to hit a lot of familiar notes. You got to hit some familiar notes so that it's not a completely different song. But you can't forget that this is supposed to be a new song. But it is. But it looks like they're saying it's a new song. So obviously, there are story points and characters that you have to do fairly faithfully from the original. The fact that they're saying it's a new song, that it's a remix, and then they're saying, obviously, you have to hit story points and characters that you have to be somewhat fairly faithful from the original. That's a red flag to me, guys. That's a red flag to me. But at the same time, you're literally, here we go with that excuse. You're literally translating something from 2D to 3D. And that meant dimensionalizing the story, taking it into new places and filling in the gaps. I'm fine with going into new places and filling in gaps. I'm fine with that. But removing an entire story arc and changing a character is not filling gaps and taking it to new places. That is detracting from the source material. That is taking away from the source material. I like that you guys have the OG soundtrack. That's cool. And here's the thing. Here's what I'm seeing a lot of people doing. And I'm guilty of this too. I did this during my reaction to the trailer. People are looking at Avatar: The Last Airbender, the M. Night Shyamalan movie, and saying, whoa, this Netflix adaptation is so much better than that. It's good. This is so good. It's better than that. Well, guess what? If I'm better than trash, it doesn't mean I'm good. The standard is the cartoon. It's the animated series. Okay? That's the standard. It's got to be equal to that. Just because it's better than the M. Night Shyamalan movie doesn't mean it's good. Okay? It doesn't mean it's good. I want this to be good. I'm hyped that they have the soundtrack from the show. I'm happy about that. I'm really happy about that. And the soundtrack seems to capture the same spirit that the soundtrack from the cartoon show captured, which is really good. Fire Lord Ozai looks awesome. Sokka's voice, I like Sokka's voice. It sounds like Sokka. And I feel like he could pull off the character, but I think he's going to be too cool. I think he's going to be a bit too cool. He's going to be cooler than Sokka from the cartoon. I feel like, but I'm not sure. I haven't seen the show. I don't know if Aang is going to be that goofy, silly boy. I mean, we saw him ram into the wall and fall over, but is he going to be goofy all the time? Katara doesn't resemble Katara to me at all, honestly. I don't know, guys. What do you think about it, man? There's a whole bunch of red flags for me about this show. I still want it to be good, obviously. I'm a fan of the cartoon, and obviously I want the live action to be good. I'm going to watch it, and I want it to be good. I don't want to watch something and it suck. That's a waste of my time, you know what I mean? So everything I watch, I want it to be good. So I hope this is good. But what do you guys think, man? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let me know, what do you guys think? Are you excited for Avatar: The Last Airbender? Do you think it's going to be good, or do you think it's going to be bad? Let me know your predictions down below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.